Hello everyone. Welcome to Yajentio Training Academy. In this video, we are going to learn Angular API integration step by step. You will understand how an Angular application communicates with a backend API using HttpClient, services, and components, following a real-time project approach. What is API integration in Angular? Why Angular uses services for API calls? How to use HttpClientModule in Angular? How to fetch data from a backend API? Display API response in the UI. Real-time Angular project flow. What is API integration in Angular? API integration in Angular means connecting the Angular front-end application with a back-end server to send and receive data. Angular does not store data permanently. It communicates with a back-end API, Node.js, Java, Python, etc., using HTTP requests like GET to fetch data, POST to send data, PUT to update data, delete to remove data. Why Angular uses services for API calls? Angular uses services to handle API calls because services follow separation of concerns, code becomes clean and reusable, multiple components can use the same service, easy to maintain and test, business logic is separated from UI logic. How to use HttpClientModule in Angular. HttpClientModule is used to communicate with backend APIs using HTTP. Import HttpClientModule in app.module.ts. Inject HTTP into a service. Use HTTP methods like GET, POST, PUT, DELETE. How to fetch data from a backend API. To fetch data from an API in Angular, create a service, use http.get method, API returns data as an observable, subscribe to the observable in the component. How to display API response in the UI. Once data is received from the API, store the response in a variable, bind the variable to the HTML template, use Angular directives like ng-for to display lists. Real-time Angular project flow. In a real-time Angular application, the flow works like this: user action, component, service, backend API, service, component, user interface. Explanation. User interacts with UI, clicks button, component calls service method, service sends request to backend API, backend returns response, component receives data and updates UI. So friends, in this video, we learned Angular API integration clearly with a real-time example. If this video was helpful, like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to Yajentio Training Academy. Don't forget to press the bell icon to get updates. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.